Our very first breakout presentation is entitled Internship Experience Working with Youth at Risk. It is going to be presented by the recently married Ms. MADINAH Begum, who is an educational therapist for the DES Main Literacy Program since 2014. She also dual specializes and teaches in the English exam skills, which is now renamed as Prep 2 PSLE. MADINAH graduated with a Master's of Counselling from Monash University in 2018 and has a degree in psychology with James Cook University. In her presentation, MADINAH will share 2 case studies from the guidance program, which is a pre-court diversionary program for youth who have committed minor offenses. Ms. MADINAH, please. This mic not so good. Try this one.
Hello. Okay. Hello. Hi. Okay. It's nice to see familiar faces. Okay. Before I start, I'm going to be talking about my internship experience, which I did with Monash. Yeah? Okay. Can we? I'll wait for everyone to settle down first. Okay, so before I start, I want to know who are the teachers here or educators? Can raise up hand? How many educators are here? Okay, are there any counselors here? Only 2? Okay. Anyone from MOE? No? Okay. Okay, so can I? Oh. Hi. I'll wait for them to settle. Okay, so like I did my master's with Monash. This is my supervisor here, by the way, Mr. Joshi. I did within a year from 2017 to 2018. So my internship I did from 2016 to 2017. I finished my courses. I did my internship from 2017 to 2018. So it was 1 year. So I did with youth at risk. Why youth at risk is because from DAS I've been working with youth and everything, and also I always liked working. Like I found working. I found mental illness fascinating. No, really. My dream is to work with either in prison or to work with in IMH. I know. I'm weird, but yeah. Yeah. It is really something I always wanted to do. Another reason, DAS and not in a normal MOE schools or something like that. Yeah, I always like something different. I like challenges. Yeah, I must always be learning, or I always must be challenged every day. So that's what motivates me. Okay, so what am I going to be talking about? So I'll give a brief introduction. I'll share my internship experience with you. I'll share my case studies. Hello? Okay. I'll share my formulation, the intervention, the challenges, what were the outcomes, and then I will talk briefly about how to identify youth at risk and some strategies we can use in our classrooms. I like interactive sessions, so please ask questions. Stop me if you cannot understand what I'm trying to say. Stop me. Share with me, I'll ask questions for you. I might even make you do stuff, so I'm just letting you all know first. Okay. So why? Why am I doing this? Okay. So the big question is why, right? So if you all attended yesterday, you all listened to Geeta, you all will actually know that a lot of students with learning difficulties actually end up in the criminal justice system. They end up committing crimes and everything. It's because they have a difficulty, coping with the system, or they come from poverty, like what Geeta said. And because of that, they tend to end up having wrong friends, or the family support is no good. They can't do well in the education, and then they end up in the wrong path. Okay, so I'm from DS, so personally, okay, so from dyslexia, right, it was found that poorer social, emotional, and behavioral outcomes experienced by dyslexic children actually included anxiety, depression, and low self-esteem. So as we know, most of our dyslexic kids do have low self-esteem, and this has been experienced by my own personal students, as well. And students with learning differences, they actually rated themselves as having higher levels of emotional distress and more conduct problems compared to normal students. And studies have confirmed that dyslexia as a special risk factor for increased internalizing anxious and depressive symptoms. And also personally, I have students who are youth and also even younger kids who are going through depression. I have one student who is kind of depressed right now, and another student who has anxiety issue. He was only P3, P4, and I have students who have very low self-esteem, and some of them are. I also have students, who have who have went to boys' home and stuff like that. So, all these personal experiences with my students have, encouraged me to take up counselling because, surprisingly, when I went for my master's course, there were a lot of teachers who were doing the counselling course. You would think that teachers would want to do maybe like special needs and stuff like that. No, but a lot of them were doing counselling, and this actually, let us believe that a lot of students, whether in mainstream schools or in special schools, need help. And so that's why I decided to take up counselling. So youth at risk. Anyone want to tell me what does youth at risk means? Anyone?
To make them more likely to be offenders. They're the low opportunities, low self-esteem, poverty, learning difficulties. The combination of those make them the ones who are picked out to be the ones who are going to 50%. Okay.
So I don't need to contact already. Okay, so the very scientific meaning means, that those who have been subjected to a combination, like what she said, interrelated biological, psychological, and social factors that result in greater likelihood for the development of delinquency, substance abuse, or any antisocial behaviors. To make it simple, so youth at risk is any youth aged between 10 to 17 experiencing any of these risk factors. They call this the risk factors. And if they are not addressed, they will affect the individual, the family, or the community. So like some of it could be trauma, suicidal thoughts, or educational disengagement, family issue, homelessness, drug abuse, and so on. So what has research taught us? Research says that 31% of youth arrested in Singapore committed shop theft, while 17% committed normal theft, and 11% were arrested for rioting. And the Singapore Police Force found that they actually listed youth involvement in crime as one of the 3 major concerns. And Eng, Faria, and Lau, they tested the effectiveness of outward bound programs for students, and then they included non-academic program activities as well, and goal setting. And actually they found that youth who actually attended their program up to 3 months, they actually had better behavior. They behaved better in school. And so youth engaged in guidance programs were less likely to have personal, social, and behavioral problems as compared to those youth who did not engage such programs. And guidance and counselling service has enabled students to be well-disciplined and improve academic performance. So what is a guidance program, and what did I do in my internship? I'm talking so many research, right? So let's go back to my internship, the interesting part. So I did at CROSSROAD Youth Centre. It's at Woodlands. So CROSSROAD Youth has many programs. They mostly deal with youth at risk from 13 to 17. They offer holistic youth programs designed to help young people develop pro-social values and essential life skills. So they have a lot of programs. Singapore actually has a lot of other guidance programs as well. So I will be only concentrating on guidance program because that's the one that I was doing. So I did 2 programs, guidance program GP and enhanced step up, which is ESU. So GP is for 6 to 12 months, depends on the student, depends on the clients. Basically, they're youth offenders who commit petty crimes like shop theft, or they stole, I don't know, a cigarette or something like that. They have 3 types of session: group, individual, and family sessions. And at the end, if they successfully complete it, they will be given a warning. If they do not complete it successfully, then they might be charged in court. Okay. For ESU, is 12 months or 1-year program. It's for youth at risk. They're at risk for dropping out of school, or they already dropped out of school. And they are mostly individual sessions. We might have family session or school session if necessary. The aim is for the youth to return to school or to engage in work skills, training or employment. I will not be talking about ESU because lack of time, and also because I only had 1 student and it did not end successfully. There were a lot of issues, yeah. Yeah, like when we went to the house and knocked on the door, they were inside, but they would refuse to let us in. So stuff like that, yeah. So I'll be talking about GP. Okay, so this is the completion rate for GP. It actually increased over the years, the successful cases. There are some clients who did not successfully complete because they might have committed a crime or something like that. And the rate for committing a crime actually reduced over the years after attending the program. Okay, so my case study 1. Okay, so this is the boy called KZ. He's a 15-year-old Malay boy. He was referred to the program for shoplifting cigarettes with his friends, this group of them. He has epilepsy and he's taking medication. And he suspected as ADHD. Why? Because he cannot sit still. Whenever he comes for my sessions, like there's a board there, he'll just take a pen, he'll start drawing, he'll be moving around, but he was not diagnosed. He's a 3rd child in the family. He has total, there are 7 of them. The youngest is 4 months, and the oldest is 17. Father is a sole breadwinner, mother is a housewife. He's close to his mother and second brother. He actually wants his mother's attention, but his mom is unable to give him the attention because of the fact that she has so many children, especially she has a young kid, and he acts out because of that as well. He does not get along with his older brother, like major issues. They don't like each other, they're always fighting. The KZ thinks that, oh, my brother is arrogant, and then the brother thinks that, oh, you're always getting into problems and issues, so they always, issues going on in the house. He smokes, but initially he lied. He did not admit that he smokes and everything, so he was in denial until towards the later part of the session. Okay, so this is the sad part. He was labelled as a troublemaker by his school teachers and his peers. So when he went to the school, everything was bad about him. There was nothing good about him. And every small thing, every small mistake he makes, he's immediately targeted. It's always him. It's not someone else, it's always him. You are a troublemaker, you did it, every time. So he got very frustrated with school. Until the point that he wanted to transfer school. But the mom did not allow him because he was already in Sec 3 at the point. Yeah. So he has very, very bad relationship in his school. He's passionate about his CCA, soccer, but because he committed this crime, he was actually kicked out of the school team. So he was very upset about that as well. So his relationship with his school is very, very bad. He tends to lie about his whereabouts at times, in the sense that his mom does not approve. Oh, sorry, what did I do? What did I do? I'm so sorry. Oh my God, what did I do? Okay, let me talk, okay. As I was saying, he lies because his parents do not approve of some of his friends. So because they do not approve, so he feels it's okay to lie about who he's going out with. Case study one. Press now. Can I use this to click? What must I click? 6 lakhs. Yeah. Okay. Can. Oh, just click. Okay, can. Thank you. Oh, yo. What am I doing? Sorry, I got direction problem apparently. Okay. Where was I? Yeah, so the parents do not approve of some of his friends, so he lies about it. But all these guidance program kids, they have curfew. So according to their age, they have to be back home by either 7, 8 or 9 p.m. And if they do not meet the curfew, they will be given a warning. 3 warnings, the case might be closed and they might be charged in court. So they're quite severe. Okay, case study 2. Okay, it's RR. He's also a Malay boy, but he's 17 years old. And he has actually left the school system. He has graduated. He did his N-level. He also was shoplifting beer. He's more of an introvert compared to my previous client. He does not like to get to know people, and it took him a very long time to open up to me. And he lacks motivation. He's not driven in the sense that he does not even want, like now he's waiting. He did not, after he finished secondary school, he does nothing. He works when he wants to. When he doesn't feel like it, he won't get up. So no, he doesn't have any goals or anything in his mind. No proper goals, nothing. He's a single child. He lives with his grandmother. Both his parents have remarried. So his father remarried another lady and he has a stepbrother from there. His mom married someone else and he has a half-sister. He is close with his stepbrother because his father will bring his family to stay with the grandma every weekend. And he only meets his mom occasionally. There's complete lack of supervision in the sense that only the grandma is home and she's working, so there's no one to look after him and monitor what is going on. He's always on his own doing what he wants. Yeah. And yeah, like he says, in between jobs. He could not go into the course he wanted in IT because his last year of N-level, he was playing truant and he wasn't serious about his studies. So he didn't get the scores that he wanted. He's passionate about soccer and sepak takraw as well. He plays occasionally every week, once a week near his house. But he's not in any particular team or anything. Again, smokes and drinks, but it was in denial as well until it came out later in the sessions. He has one best friend. He's the only positive person, friend in his life, and he's very close with him. And he has an uncle who was in jail for writing. Yeah. Okay, so we use this tool called YLS and CMI 2.0 to measure youth at risk. So Singapore uses this. So to measure the risk factors, we use this tool. So what does this? It's called the Youth Level of Service Case Management Inventory. So what does it measure? It basically measures their prior or current offences. If they have committed any crime before, or what are the current crimes they have committed, the education, the employment, how are they currently coping in school or their work, substance abuse, alcohol, drug abuse, personality behaviour. Do they have anger issues, or do they have ADHD or stuff like that? Family circumstances, parenting styles, peer relation, leisure, like hobbies, and their current attitude. Okay, so these were the issues identified using the YLS. Okay, so for both of them, we found that they had inconsistent parenting for both parents. Like one will be authoritative, another one will be like permissive, just gives in to the child. This is for both of them. And inappropriate discipline, like because RR is always with his grandmother, he's alone. What happens is if let's say he does something wrong, the dad is more firm and like takes away his gadgets and stuff like that, or he has a very strict curfew. Whereas the mom is like, since she doesn't see him so often, she just, it's okay, Nema, I'll just talk to you. It's okay, we can solve it out by solving. So they have very different parenting style. And I think it confuses the child as well. Inadequate supervision, like I mentioned earlier, and difficulty controlling behavior is more for KZ, the client K, because he has a lot of issues in school. He acts out in school and throw tantrums and very bad issues. Okay. Education employment, like I mentioned, KZ has disruptive behavior. He'll just go up to the school teacher and I'm like, oh, you're not happy with me, is it? I'm not happy with you. He just talks back like that. And if I'm not, there's incidents where there was physical aggression as well. Yes, I think punched someone in school. Yeah, so that's why he's always targeted as a troublemaker. Low achievement for both of them. Like I mentioned, RR did not do well in his last year because he wasn't interested in the school. So for KZ, because of his school incidents and stuff like that, he just doesn't put in the effort. He feels like, I don't like you, I don't like my teacher, I'm not going to study. So that's his attitude. Problem with peers and teachers, especially for KZ, and truancy for both of them. Both of them have very few positive or no positive influence. Most of their friends either tend to be in gangs, they tend to smoke, drink, or don't follow the rules, or be involved in small petty crimes and stuff like that. And their personality. So both of them have slight anger management issue, but for KZ it's really obvious. He feels angry about everything. He feels like, okay, whatever you do, it's not fair. You target me, it's not fair. It's always your fault, your fault. He always blames someone else for his mistakes. And both of them don't have inadequate guilt feeling. They don't feel guilty about the crime at all. They feel like, it's not my fault. It's my friend's fault I got caught. It's my friend's fault I went and stole the cigarette or something like that. So they have very inadequate guilt feelings. They are both, KZ can be very verbally aggressive. In school or to his brothers, he'll just like use vulgarities and just, shout at them. Because for him, if I don't like what you're doing, I'm going to shout at you. I cannot control my temper. KZ has short attention span and he throws tantrums, like I mentioned. Like I said, they are physically aggressive. There have been punches thrown in school. Poor frustration tolerance. In terms of the attitude and orientation, they both are defiant to authority, and they have pro-social criminal attitudes. Pro-criminal attitudes, sorry. Okay, so goals. So I mentioned about the case studies, how they have been. Any questions so far? No? Okay. So now, when we went to the interventions, so we used the YLS to come up with all these profiles. So we identified their main issues, and then we set goals. Together, collaboratively, we come up with goals, long-term and short-term goals. We use the SMART goals method to come up with the goals. So for short-term, one of the goals was to set and achieve small personal goals. That means in the sense of like for KZ, he wants to be a pilot. So we said, okay, what are the goals? How do you become a pilot? We had a timeline and we figured out what he needs to do to become a pilot. And then now let's look at the short-term. What is the short-term goal you need to achieve? So you have to do well in your school right now. So you have to focus on the subjects that you are not doing well. So that was a small short-term goal we had. So you have to achieve this within the 6 months or within a year. And then we have long-term goals as well. So 2 goals. To increase positive peer interaction, which was done during the group and the individual sessions. Use coping skills to manage anger. So we did you use thought diaries. And then we also use a bit of mindfulness. To help you, yeah, we do. We did modifying attitude towards teachers and peers. This was especially important for KZ because his attitude towards his teachers and peers was, they don't like me, they're unfair to me, so I'm not going to like them. I'm not going to listen to them. I'm going to be like how I am. Yeah, so that was very important for him. So long term, to be successful in building social and behavioral skills, to increase the sense of purpose and future, to be able to problem solve on their own, which we felt was important because in counselling, we believe that I'm not here to give you solutions. We work collaboratively, and after the sessions, we expect you to be able to problem solve on your own. So we felt this was very important, and to have a sense of usefulness and responsibility. Okay, so we used in the center as well, they used 2 therapies. So the 2 therapies are CBT, cognitive behavioral therapy. Anyone know what is CBT? Oh, you know? Okay. You want to tell me? I'll come to you.
Basically, your thoughts influence your feelings and your actions.
Yeah. That's the summary of what she just said. Thoughts, feelings, and actions. So CBT is actually a psychosocial intervention, that improves mental health, but you can use for a lot of other issues as well. It focuses on challenging and changing unhelpful cognitive distortions, behaviors, improving emotional regulation, and the development of personal coping strategies that target solving current problems. So for example, my thoughts, what I think affects how I feel and act. What I do affects what I think and feel, and what I feel affects what I do and think. So they believe that if you change your thought, you can change your behavior and your emotion, or you change your behavior, you can change your emotion and thought. So that's how it works. So we use that. Choice theory. Anyone knows choice theory? Okay, so choice theory is by William Glasler. He believed that human behavior is guided by 5 basic needs. Okay, like love and belonging. So like my family, my friends, I belong somewhere. Power, what is the power I have? My achievements, my success, or fun. What I like to have fun with, my hobbies, or what I like. Survival, the basic needs of survival, food, belonging, needing a house, and freedom, the freedom to do what I want, the freedom to choose. So he believed that successful people are individuals that take responsibility for their own choices. Okay, and that, so this choice theory is used to help people take control and be responsible for their own behavior. The basic principle of this theory is to promote self-control so that individuals can increase their ability to make and act on responsible choice. So this was used in the group work and the individual sessions to help them, come up with what are the 5 things, what is important to them, and use that to work towards their goals. Like if we feel that their family is important, so we work on building better family relationship. Or they feel that they need power, they want to be successful in life, so you work towards that. So this was used to work towards their goals. Okay, so the intervention, challenges, and outcomes. Okay, so we had 3 sessions, right? Okay, I need volunteers. Can I have 3 volunteers? That means, okay, can I have 3 volunteers? Okay, yes, sure. Someone else? From DAS, 1 person? If not, I'll choose. KVT, I'll come. I just choose you. Any non-DM? Come. Okay. Don't have to do much, don't worry. Okay. Can I have, no, that's Joy. Okay, I thought it was someone else. Can I have you? Anyone, one of you. Yes, okay. Okay. I want you to, each of you, to pick 3 items from this room, anywhere, and come back to me. Any 3 items. We are going to build something. Any 3 items. 3, pick, put here. Pick and put here, you can put here. Yeah, 3 items. Any 3 items. Phone also can. You're going to build something. 3 items. Okay, so this is yours? Okay, here. Put yours here. Okay, so 3. Okay, so this 3? Okay, this yours? Okay. This 3, only 1. I need 2 more. Yes, 2 more. For him. Okay. Okay, your sunglasses is okay? Okay. Let's stay here, huh? Okay. Now I'm going to tell you what you're going to build. You're going to build a boat. Okay, so how are you going to build a boat with that? Okay, if I give you a choice to change 1 item, what item would you change? You're going to build a boat. The boat needs to be able to float in the water. What would you change? No, I don't know. Oh, he's doing something. You're going to build a boat. He's very creative. Okay, so was it easy? What would you substitute? Actually, you have very good items.
Yeah, but we want 2 bottles of water to sink it.
So how would you substitute? You can take the water away, then what would you substitute with? You can substitute with something else. You need a base, right? Oh, yeah. Oh, you can, okay, throw the water away, so you keep the bottle. Can? Yeah? Okay. Thank you, you can go back. That's all. Thank you. Okay, I'll tell you why I did that, okay? Thank you. Okay, because one of our group activity was build a boat. So, we did quite a bit of group session, like basic needs, overcoming obstacle, evaluating support system, peer pressure, managing emotion, and mindfulness, a bit of mindfulness. Okay, so what was the activity I asked you all to do? I asked you all to pick 3 items, right? So the students in the group settings, they were broken into groups, and they were given a choice of items like maybe a water bottle, newspapers, papers, candles, and stuff like that, ice cream sticks, and they'll be asked to build, just say you're going to build something, take 3 items and go back. Then they'll be told, okay, now you're going to build a boat, you get to exchange 1 item. And then they have to think, okay, what I can do and what to exchange. And then they'll build a boat. Then there'll be a sink test. So there'll be a basin of water. You'll be asked to put the boat into the water. Marbles will be placed inside. So whoever's boat stays the longest, floats the longest, wins. Then after that, they'll be asked, okay, they'll be debriefed. So, okay, let's talk about why you build the boat. Okay, so why you think, how does this boat, the materials that you used, talk about support system? Anyone want to try? Okay. Keeps you up? Yes. I can just have the session with Angela. She'll give me all my answers. Okay, yeah. So basically the materials, they represent different things in our life. Like your family, your friends, your hobbies, things that keep, like she said, positive and negative interactions. And building a boat is like a goal that you want to achieve. So you want to achieve your goal, you have to build it up, go towards your goal. And some materials, they are useful. Like you said, I can use the bottle, but I can't use the water. I can use a paper, but I can't use some items to build a boat. So like this, like we have negative friends or negative people or negative things in our life that are stopping us from achieving our goals. So that's what this activity was supposed to be, to help the kids understand the support system and which support system is positive and which support system is negative. Okay? And then we did our individual sessions. Okay, so there was a lot of basic needs, goal setting, peer pressure, managing emotion, attitude towards authority, and like I said, a bit of mindfulness. Okay, so for peer pressure, there were a lot of topics like how to say no to someone, how to identify positive friends, how to identify negative. So it's a lot. One of the topics that I did with them was because both of them smoke. So I felt that this was something that we need to be addressed. So we did, and they smoke because their friends smoke. My friends smoke, so I'm smoking. I'm smoking because everyone around me smokes. So we did a bit of psychoeducation on it. We talked about what is smoking. Both of them were actually shocked to find out that smoking can causes a lot of lung diseases, and they were not aware. Yeah, they were not aware. And when I showed them pictures, I literally showed them pictures. One of the boy got shocked. He was like, really? Yeah. And then, so they were not aware. And then we talked about their concerns. What are their concerns? What are their fears? And one of their concerns was, I don't think I can stop because I'm already addicted to it. Or another concern was, like my friends, what if my friends smoke and then they force me to smoke? Stuff like that. So we addressed these concerns and fears. And what are the methods we can do to quit? So we actually came up with this, there's an app called Quit Start. Quit, Q-U-I-T, Start. Okay, so we used that. So they were interested about the app. The app actually guides them on methods, tell them what they can do, what can they substitute with, and monitors their progress. And then we also talked about withdrawal symptoms and techniques for managing these symptoms. Okay. And then we also did group family sessions. We talked about tips and strategies, like what kind of tips you can use to work with your child and stuff like that. Okay, and next one. Okay, some of the challenges I faced. Both of them were reluctant to attend the program because they are forced to attend it. So there were no shows. That means they didn't turn up for the program. They they will give excuses, especially RR. He was very reluctant. So warning letters was issued to both of them. And only after that, then RR started attending the session. They were both not guilty about shoplifting. They just blamed it on their friends. They were both, at the start, they were resistant to change. Like KZ felt like, why must I change? It's my teacher's fault. They are behaving like that. It's not my fault. And RR was like, I can't be bothered. I'm just coming because you forced me to come. Yeah. And there were issues in school, especially for KZ, like major issues. And every week the school will be like, oh, he did this, he did that, he did this, he did that. Can you address this? So it's always issues. And the family was hard to contact because KZ's mom had a lot of children, and RR parents were like both divorced. So it's very hard to get both hold of them. And lack of proper supervision. And I said the parenting styles, like RR's parents are permissive, everything she gives in to him, one other parents authoritative. So the outcome, both their programs were extended. KZ was extended for 6 months and RR was extended for 3 months. But after warning and collaborative sessions with both the family, them and the school, both of them did feel remorse at the end. They felt like they shouldn't have done it. They could have, what they did was wrong. And they did get motivated to achieve their goals and dream. Like RR became more positive about getting a job. He actually got a job at the end of the sessions, and KZ was like he was more motivated to work towards his goal. And they learned to manage emotion better, especially for KZ. There was quite a number of change in him. He was getting along better in school. He wasn't quick to blame anyone. Yeah. And he had positive interaction with authority figures. He was getting better in school. Like if he didn't like the teacher, he just concentrated on his work. He didn't really bothered about how the teacher reacted to him. And they actually moved away from negative peers. They decided to cut contact with some of the peers that were negatively influencing them. And both of them were more focused on their education and job. And both of them finished the program successfully. So that was one good thing. Okay, so the interesting part. How can we help? We are educators. We are not counselors. We are not trained counselors. How can we help these kids? So the first step is we have to identify them. How do we identify them? Anyone know anything? Hashini, tell me anything. How do we identify you, Ferris?
Test. Okay. Well, it really depends. I think it's important to have a good rapport with your students and their parents, or the guardians, if I may say, and monitor, observe, of course, and maintain that good relationship to identify if they may potentially be at risk. So that is one of the basic ways, of course. If you are able to interact with the educators, of course, back in school, and maybe their student care, just to maintain the rapport at the end of the day, I think that may be helpful. So that's one of the ways I will use to identify.
Thank you for that. Yes, it's one of the ways. So how else can we know that, like, keep in contact with the parents, the schools, the childcare, the guardian? That's a good way, and that's how we can. I'm going to talk about some of the signs, like how you know. So, like for example, there's a fall in school performance. So when you keep in contact with the school, you will know that the school performance has dropped. Any suspension, expulsion, any severe worry or anxiety, change in sleep pattern, refusal to go to school, or take part in activities is normal for them. Strong worries, there's change in the daily life, and depression shown by prolonged negative mood and attitude, of poor appetite, difficulty sleeping, and frequent physical complaints, changes in, like I said, sleeping and eating habits, difficulty concentrating in school. Okay, I have to go a bit fast. So sexually acting out, severe mood swings, repeated use of alcohol or drug abuse, and being verbally abusive to those around him. And a struggle with basic expectation and rules in the family or even in school. So these are some of the signs that we can take note of and know that this kid needs help. So we can make a difference. So I'm going to share with you some strategies. Just 5. Okay, just 5. There's more, but we just talk about 5. So the first one is, like what Hashini said, build a relationship. So that is very important. Even in DS, we always talk about bonding, have a relationship with the students. It may not be instantaneous. It may take months. It may take years. But that is the most important thing you need to do. Why? Because when we make an effort to understand what they are going through, and then the kids will start to trust us, and they start to open up to us, and that's when we know we can make a difference, and we can also know what they are going through, and we can actually reach out to them, help them out. And trust and consistency are extremely important. And our role as educators, for dyslexic kids or even normal kids, is to help the students realize and accomplish their goals. Okay. Next one is to set expectation and boundaries from the beginning. So even in DS, we always say that when you set expectation, be firm with it and make sure you keep to it all the way. And when you set, give very clear and precise expectations. Let's say if you have a reward system, let's say this is how you get a reward. You tell them you have to, read properly. You have to read 5 words correctly. Then you can get a reward, for example. Then you have to be very firm with it for every week. You can't say 1 week, okay, I'll just, you read 3 words, it's okay, I'll give it to you. No, you have to be very firm and you have to be very precise. And communication is important and you cannot give very vague expectations. Be very clear from the start. Okay, and when you give vague expectation, that's when you have inappropriate behaviors. And this is very, very, very important, which is always, always believe in the best in our students. We may have students who makes us want to tear our hairs out. I do as well. And we have kids who just make us like, oh my God, why is he here? Yeah, it's okay. I feel it every day sometimes. Okay, so but you see, what happens is at-risk students, they have very low self-esteem and they are quickly judged by others. So they feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. So when we don't believe in them, who's going to believe in them? So we have to show them that we believe. And I'm sure these kids, no matter how bad they are, they have at least one quality that is good about them. So we have to pick out that one and focus on that one. And tell them, okay, for example, like, oh, you read the words correctly. Or, your writing has improved so much. So give them the encouragement and believe in them. And let them feel successful and celebrate all successes, even if it's very, very small. We have students who act out because, like I said, they are low self-esteem. So we need to create a successful learning environment. So even if they are just read 1 word correctly that day, it's okay. Let's celebrate it. You read it correctly on your own today. So when we do that, that's when they feel successful and they are motivated, to give their best. When they don't feel successful in class or in school, then they are going to act out. They're going to seek other ways to feel successful. And last one is develop an emotional and physically safe environment. This is very important because if students are afraid, they are not going to learn. This could be in the way of how, like if the kids don't trust you, they don't feel safe, they're going to act out. It could even be in the form of bullying, like bullying in the sense of like another student saying, hey, you don't know how to do this. That could be a very slight thing, but that could affect a child's self-esteem. So we have to put a stop to this and we need to let them feel safe to learn and to share their problems. Okay, I'm going to end. Any questions so far? No? Okay. We're going to watch a video. Can I? Can I? Okay. Okay. So this is an interesting video about a former gangster who actually turned into a mentor. Okay. So I'll let you watch it. Oh no. Life issues. Why is it not playing? Oh, okay. I play it.
Anything that a gangster he has done, I've actually done before. From fighting, rioting, voluntarily or causing hurt with weapon. The worst weapon I've used is actually a 1.5 feet parang. I was 15. We have this argument going on. My first parang went down, cut through his collarbone all the way down to the chest. That's the first stroke. The second stroke went down, the hand came off. I joined the gang probably because of my small structure before. I don't want to get bullied. Eventually we got caught. All of us got caught. I got sentenced in boys' home 3 years. My hitman passed. He passed away when I was almost released. Another gang actually used a screwdriver to stab him through the neck, and he died on the spot. I didn't want to be like him, dead. I was telling myself, why be a gangster? When I was inside, I was thinking, wow, I got lucky this time. I don't want to spend more than half my life in prison anymore. The number one thing that I knew I had to change was my temper and my attitude. I'm very into arts and design, but at the time, a lot of schools actually rejected me, except this one school, First Media Design School. I came out to work. My career path actually went very fast, from junior art director to a creative director by the age of 27. Then I have 5 companies under my name as well. So at the time, everything was good. Life was good, but my dad, he actually owed a lot of money outside. At that time, his business failed, and a lot of things is under my name, so I actually sold a lot of the properties and stuff to pay the debt back. at that time I was like, wow. That was actually one of the worst period of my life. Because I just got married with my wife. My wife is a few months pregnant. I have no more companies under my name. I have no income. I even told my wife, I actually considered committing suicide. She told me in a very firm tone, I say, if you were to live like that, what happened to me? Not just me, what happened to our kid? So at the time, I actually persevered. I started 2 different companies, interior design and this company here, WP Rainbow. It's an advertising, branding, marketing company. To our surprise, within 6 months, I actually make money. I want to be a speaker and mentor for all these troubled youth because I know there's still hope for them. Because I used to be one of them. I'm very bad myself, and I managed to change. There's no bad people in this world. Everyone is created the same. It's only they need a good guidance.
Okay, so like what he said, there are no bad people in this world. So there are no bad children in this world. There's definitely hope for them. It's just that they need a good guidance. So I would like to end off with this quote. In my world, there are no bad kids, just impressionable, conflicted young people wrestling with emotion and impulses, trying to communicate their feelings and needs the only way they know how. So as educators, what we can do is to listen to them, to be there for them, and to just try to help them as best as we can. Okay, so that's all. Any questions? No? Thank you.
Can we hold the questions until later?
Yeah, so you can ask me later.
She's going to join the next session as well. But let's give her a warm applause. Thank you very much for the sharing.